So why would any musician want to limit themselves? You want to work with the most powerful tools you can work with. And in the past that may have been a piano or a guitar, but now I think the power of software synthesizers is something that all musicians, I would think, would want to harness.
Music to be murdered by.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Music Gauntlet channel. I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far, and today we're going to be going behind the lyrics of the song Zeus by Eminem featuring White Gold. Zeus is the 14th track off Eminem's Music to be Murdered by side B, and the track finds the legendary MC addressing his current qualms with the rap game, especially given his perspective deeming himself a rap god. And he certainly believes that to be true, if not a god, definitely the best rapper in the game, considering how many times he goes out of his way to make a mention out of it just on side B alone. The project overall, the side B version, was pretty average to me. I saw a lot of people absolutely despising this album, and I'm not nearly on that level for sure. I'm definitely one of those people that don't really mind the direction that Eminem's going in with his newer music. Yeah, the punchlines can be dumb and corny, but at least he seems somewhat self-aware about it. So if I take it as Eminem more so having fun with his music rather than taking it too seriously, then I find myself enjoying songs like Alfred's Theme and Nat. But some of these lines can even be too corny for me, like the piss offerson line. Like, dude, really? And then he can just be plain redundant, like with the track of Black Magic when he was talking about a toxic relationship, and I bet you can't guess how it ends. Murder. It ends with murder. But through it all, a track that stood out to me was Zeus. There were multiple parts of the song that I thought would be relatively interesting talking points, and I guess we'll see on that, but it inspired me to start a new series that I don't know how often I'll be doing, but one in which I pick out selective lyrics from a song and discuss them. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into these bars and go behind the lyrics of Zeus. Right out the gate, you're getting shade thrown at Tekashi, someone he's had no public beef with, and MGK, who he clearly did. Or I guess still does, because dude seems to reference it a lot, like it's still ongoing. This is coming from somebody who thought Eminem won that battle. He was stretching it by name-dropping several times on the original Music to be Murdered by, and you could somewhat justify each. Unaccommodating, making a public statement that the beef is over, Yaya having an extensive punchline just as a jab thrown his way, and no regrets used as a reflection of your recent encounters and life experiences. Now we're getting a little greedy, Em. We're teetering over into X that's totally fine but not fine with the breakup territory. Like, the more you bring this up, the more we're gonna perceive you as somebody that's acting bitter. You even felt the need to diss him in your chorus for the song Nat.
They come at me with machine guns, like trying to fight up a gnat.
Dude, it's time to let it go. It's time to just let the beef ferment, let people think what they think, just let it go. It makes it harder to believe that he believes he won this battle when he feels the need to constantly bring it up. The Tekashi lines at the beginning of the bars are cute. He should have just started with that and skipped over the MGK part, and it would have been a way better start. I'm glad he didn't give a full-on jab to Tekashi because he's really not worth his time. We just gotta let this dude fade out like he's doing. And the Genius annotation says that Eminem meant to have the connections between the last line saying swear to God and cross me. I don't know though. Do you really think he thought that through? I don't know. I'm torn on it. I don't know. But nevertheless, Em, you have our attention. What else is on your mind? Good for you, Em. Look at you apologizing to people instead of just lashing out, and for somebody that it really matters for too. Rihanna and Eminem's relationship has been clear ever since their collaboration on Love the Way You Lie in 2010. Ever since then, they've done a handful of collaborations together. Good to see you not burning your bridges. Say, what was that line you're apologizing for anyways?
Let me get my 2 cents. Of course I side with Chris Brown. I beat a bitch down too if she gave my dick an itch now. Ooh, yikes. It's worth mentioning that this recorded verse was for a B.O.B. song released on January 1st of 2011. On top of being an older track to begin with, it also falls right into the same time frame where M was in a tough spot with his career and was debating even dissing Lil Wayne and Kanye for the publicity. It was a time when his best judgment wasn't in play, and if his verse was a product of that, it makes sense why it was said and why it was never actually released officially, because that would be batshit insane. And we've seen on verses like the one he did for Conway on the song Bang that he had taken out, where he dissed MGK, Diddy, and Joe Budden, it's not uncommon for M to have unreleased verses like that. So I hate seeing media outlets that just post this like Eminem is the worst human being alive just to get that clickbait click. So yeah, I think that was an extremely long-winded way to say I hate clickbait. But it's really nice hearing him express some kind of empathy on a track where I thought he was just mostly going to talk about how great he is. And I sincerely hope you know if she was actually grieving or not, because if she wasn't, that'd be pretty awkward. Nothing really elaborate I wanted to say on these lines here. I usually find it pretty damn annoying when an artist uses the same word for a rhyme scheme, but not only does the dual context work in its favor, I think we can give Eminem a little bit of a pass on rhyming words. He sounds a little gassed.
Bitch, I can make orange rhyme with banana.
This whole laughing at your jokes though, M, it's getting out of hand. This man's really in the booth, listening to himself rap, listening to his own jokes, and then laughing at his own jokes.
No, wait, let me try that again. No, one more time. You sure are funny, me. Yeah, I think that captured the tone.
And it's fine to do once in a while, but he does it all the damn time ever since Kamikaze. And this probably won't solve anything, but I just had to get it off my chest. Okay, these were the lines that were the true inspiration behind this video, because ever since I've heard these for the first time, it's kind of stuck with me. It's true that in our current age, a lot more people feel a sense of entitlement, as in if I'm a fan of an artist, but that artist releases a project that I personally don't like, then I'm going to feel cheated and want to express that feeling as negativity, usually through means online. Some people can exercise self-control, others are going to go on a messaging board and type out a scholarly article on why Revival is a putrid mistake of an LP. Point is, people are mean. People can be vicious. I get that perspective. But why does he talk down to Drake like he's God warning Noah to build an ark? Ah, is that further symbolism of you being a god amongst mortals? Haha. Eminem saw as much backlash as he did because he released an exceptionally bad album. Artists like Drake, Future, and the Migos are huge names. On what planet do you live on where you don't think they're getting any hate as well? They be calling you a trash bin. Your new one isn't better than your last, and once they turn their backs, they ain't coming back, and you're telling me they've never heard that before. Come on, Drake hears that shit like 20 times a day, at least. Not to mention, none of these artists politically divided their fan base either. All three of these fuckers are guilty of releasing bloated projects just to get that maximum stream revenue. You bet your ass they generated some critiques of it. And it's funny that he cites Chance the Rapper as well, because it is a glaring example of fans turning on an artist, yes. But they did it to Chance because, drumroll please, it was also an exceptionally bad album.
This album makes me feel like I'm getting a divorce.
This is the only person you listed off that could probably remotely relate to what you're going through, M. All it took was for one anticipated release to be a dud, and there were pitchforks and torches raised high in the air. It just goes to show you, Chance the Rapper, it later came out that he rushed the process of the big day, announced it before it was even complete. But people trashed it before even having this knowledge because they already knew they didn't like it. They could already tell something was missing. There's a difference between taking a dip in quality, maybe not venturing outside your comfort zone, but it's another thing to make something that's just evidently kinda shit. They turned on you because they could notice a severe lack of quality. There's a stack of albums that prove he's a good lyricist, so obviously you're gonna know when he's off. But you can't be so naive to think that people just want to take down an artist for the fun of it. They really can't if there isn't a good enough reason to. The only way you're gonna draw some kind of attention is if you have an army of participants. But you're not gonna get all those participants if you don't have a frame of media, in this case an album, to get them all riled up. It's just a moment to me that exposes a little bit of arrogance. Eminem thinks he's so far ahead of the curve that he's giving other artists a warning of how the industry works, when in reality, I'm sure they're well aware. They know how fan bases operate and structure their music accordingly. I get the intent here, but the delivery definitely muddied the message. These lines are kind of confusing to me, because you would think that him talking about being a fighter and getting the shit beat out of him, that he's talking about defending himself. So why would you brag about being in a fight, tripping, popping your knee out, getting up, popping it back into place, and being like, fuck it, let's go round two? And that's eliminating the embarrassing possibility that this could just be happening when he's taking a walk randomly. I really don't get the fuck it, best 2 out of 3 line. Like, why not say fuck you or something more aggressive? It's like the difference between saying I'm not done with you yet and I'm not done taking a beating yet. yet. Like, fuck it, I'll get messed up again, come pop out my other knee. Just seems like that could be worded a lot better, but I guess that's a nitpick. Why is sodomy what Eminem goes to nowadays for shock value? I swear he's done this on at least several different occasions. Is there something you want to tell us, Eminem? Do you have a fetish you're not telling us about? You can tell us, we're your fan base, come on.
Wait, what if I told you I'm gay too?
Whoa, not what I was expecting. Alrighty, well, moving on. Alrighty, the talking point that everyone's been waiting for. Two 90s rap titans going head to head. Here Eminem formally dissing Snoop Doggy Dogg. This can only mean war. Or, in the words of Eminem,
Nah, not really.
yeah, the biggest controversy of this entire song, and yet it was barely a sparring match that fizzled out in less than a month. I'm not saying I condone beef. I support world peace and all that jazz. But I'm also one of those people that'll dust off their finest lawn chairs and make their finest batch of popcorn whenever something like this goes down. This does play into my tiff with media outlets blowing something out of proportion like the Rihanna line, but in this scenario, there genuinely was an argument between both parties. But mainly, to Snoop I have to say, somebody that's shown you nothing but love and respect over the years, why even feel a need to speak ill on the man's legacy at all? Let alone insult the line like Eminem was actually trying to come for blood. It's just like him calling out MGK's man bun. The intent isn't to attack, the intent is to ridicule, make fun of the opponent as opposed to going for a hard jab. But to Eminem I gotta say, isn't the whole you getting offended at what people say about you shtick getting a little played out at this point? He literally made an entire album centered around that concept. Can't you hear a bit of criticism despite somebody's tone and just let it go? What Snoop said wasn't too outrageous to the point where it warranted scribbling a verse with his name in it for the deluxe project. But right, this is side B, totally, definitely recorded around the same time as the first. It really was a silly situation, and I'm glad it was handled like men as opposed to making more of a media blowout about it. It's crazy how an entire song can be overshadowed by a couple lines, because honestly I consider the ones about Drake and Chance the Rapper to be of higher importance. And in the context of the song, sure the lines do fit, but they're already starting to become outdated with the way they're reaching out. Again, was it really that necessary to do in the first place? With these final lines, Eminem closes out his train of thought and leaves his grievances on the floor, left to be mulled over by the listener. Overall, I like this song, and I think it serves as a brighter spot on side B. Despite some missteps, he's making pretty poignant observations about the rap game, and all while having a smooth flow, clever punchlines, and an ominous beat with the chorus from White Gold to pack an extra godly punch. I'm starting to like Eminem's rapping more when it's over low-key beats like this. I think he delivered his message, and I had a fun time breaking down some of these choice lyrics and giving my thoughts on them. However, given that this song is relatively old at this point, I would love to know what you guys think about it as well. What lines do you think I should have touched on? Are there some I should have left out? Let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, links in the description, and we can talk about it there. Hopefully I can get around to doing more videos like these in the future, but until then we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for making it all the way until the end. If you made it all the way until the end, you know I truly appreciate that. If you want to leave a like or subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well, and I'll see you in the next one.
The chickens, the chickadees, running about, and you'll be lucky to get my seconds.